Hi, and welcome to the webinar called Reduce Fat, Fatigue, and Brain Fog for Maximum Productivity. I am Leann Forst, and I'm a drugless practitioner. And in my private practice here in Frisco, Texas, I help my clients recover their health by getting to the root cause of their condition through testing and then using nutrition, detoxification, supplements, and other natural protocols to help them rebuild their health. So I've been grateful to have had success in reversing such conditions as ADHD, asthma, allergies, diabetes, several types of cancer, hypertension, digestive issues, skin conditions, and other chronic illnesses. So before I get started, I am going to give you the disclaimer that all information presented is for educational purposes only, and these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. It is not intended to be a substitute or replacement for any medical treatment. Please seek the advice of a health professional for your specific health concerns. Individual results may vary. So having said that, I just want to start off by telling a little bit of a story about me and how I came to be talking about a topic that I am very passionate about. I feel like my whole life has been on a path that has led me to be here doing this webinar today. I grew up in Iowa, and as an Iowa farm girl, I come from a very large Catholic Irish family. My dad was the oldest of 11 children. And so my grandma was pregnant every 2 years for 20 years, if you can imagine. So one of my clearest memories was when we would all gather in grandma's big farm garage in the middle of winter, and my uncles would hang up a slaughtered cow on a meat hook and slice off a side of beef and put it through a meat grinder, and then bring the beef to the picnic tables where all the women and children were sitting, and they would sit there and make hamburger patties in the dead of winter. And this is the food that we would take home and store for the winter. We also had really large gardens and fruit trees, and we really just lived off the land, we were kind of like the Duck Dynasty of Iowa, a little bit different than how most of us get our food today. So fast forward, I left Iowa after receiving my master's degree, and I moved down to Dallas, Texas, and met and married my husband. And we had our son, and when he was little, he suffered from chronic asthma. And he was sick every 3 weeks. It was cyclical. And at the worst point, he was on 5 different medications with no end in sight of ever being off of medication. And we were told that he was going to be on medication for the rest of his life. So since I wasn't content with the situation, I began to really try to help his health through nutrition. And after some time, what I came to realize is that the food he was eating was actually causing his asthma. So long story short, after cleaning up his nutrition, his body healed itself, and within 3 months, he was off all medications. And that's why I have such a passion about food and nutrition and how it affects our health, because it really can be your medicine or your poison. And so on the left is an example of what many people are eating, and on the right is what we know we should be eating. The information I'm going to give you today may seem simple, but it can literally not only transform your energy and productivity, it can transform your health, which will impact every area of your life. So if you don't remember anything else from this webinar, just remember this, that studies show that employees' productivity is strongly linked to their health. We know that health equals productivity because when you're healthy, you have better focus, longer attention span, increased energy, sounder sleep, happier mood, and fewer aches and pains, right? We also know that current healthcare costs are out of control. In 2010, healthcare costs were $2.6 trillion. In 2020, they are expected to be over $4.6 trillion. Last decade, employer healthcare costs rose by 131%. And studies show that 50% of corporate profits now go toward healthcare costs compared to 7% 3 decades ago. So we now have what's called presenteeism, which equals F.L.C disease. And if you don't know what F.L.C disease is, it's feel like crap disease, right? Lost productivity from presenteeism and absenteeism is 2.3 times higher than direct healthcare costs. Lost productivity due to employee fatigue is $136 billion, and that averages over $6,700 per year per employee. So the top reasons for presenteeism is anxiety, depression, migraines, diabetes, and arthritis. We know that the current healthcare system is broken. Medications manage symptoms, not the root cause of the health condition. And we continue to spend more on healthcare, even though we continue to be the sickest nation on earth. Diet, lifestyle, and environment, we have now determined, cause 95% of chronic illness and disease. So we know that our body is a funnel. There is definitely a gut connection to your health. So we know that your gut is also connected to your brain health. Your gut is known actually as your second brain, because your gut is lined with over 100 million neurons. And so what happens in your gut happens in your brain. As far as if your gut is toxic and inflamed, then your brain cannot operate at its optimal level. And in a new area of science called epigenetics, we now know that, like I said, 95% of diseases are caused by diet, lifestyle, and environment, and 95% of diseases are epigenetic. So what I thought is I would get started with the most common questions that I get from my clients. There are so many people out there with great intentions, but they don't know where to start. And this is how I would answer them from evidence-based studies, experience with clients, and what I've seen work. So the first question I get is, in general, I'm stuck in a sea of bad habits and I'm very overwhelmed. What are some simple steps I can take to get out of my rut? And the first thing I would always say is cut out fried foods. Fried foods are truly toxic. They're dipped in white refined batter and dunked in a vat of oil, and a lot of times it's hydrogenated toxic oil that will cause inflammation. Okay, and then secondly, I would ditch the sugary drinks. Sodas, sugary teas, sugary beverages don't fill you up. So you end up taking in hundreds of calories. And if you cut out one 20-ounce bottle of soda per day, that's 17 teaspoons of sugar on average. So if you cut out one per day for a year, you'll save yourself potentially 91,000 calories, stopping from potentially gaining 26 pounds while preventing 108 cups of sugar from entering your bloodstream. Fruit juice is not any better. Too many calories and a fast release of sugar. And as we know, what goes up then comes down, leaving you feeling foggy. So what I recommend is to switch to some healthy drink options. We know that water is always the best hydrator. And really, there's so many options in the grocery store aisle. We always forget that all we really need is water. And honestly, I had a client that came to me and said that he was diagnosed with dry mouth disease, and he couldn't figure out because he drank liquids all day long. And when I asked him what he was drinking, he told me, well, he had at least 4 or 5 sodas a day. He had a couple cups of coffee and his energy drink later in the day. And when I asked him how much water he was drinking, he had to think for a second. And he said, well, really none, because he was drinking everything else but water. And so when I encouraged him to drink more water and cut out the other options, his so-called dry mouth disease went away. So the power of water is, don't underestimate the power of water, is what I should say. Naturally flavored seltzers are a great alternative if you want a little taste to your water. Only get the seltzer waters that are flavored from natural fruit, and they're clean, and a lot of people like just a little bit of flavor added to their water. And then tea is awesome, hot or cold. It's loaded with antioxidants. Herbal teas can have medicinal effects. For instance, ginger can help with PMS. It's anti-inflammatory. Peppermint tea can help settle the stomach. And you can control the sugar that goes in it instead of buying it loaded. So tea has half the amount of caffeine as coffee. Now, coffee can be healthy, but it is acidic, but it is also loaded with antioxidants. So some people can have a reaction. You just have to be careful. People with high blood pressure need to be careful and talk to their doctor. But it does help you wake you up to focus. And drinking caffeine helps you to preserve your memory as you get older. Now, decaf is you're still going to get some goodness from decaf. And I would limit your coffee to only 1 to 2 cups a day. Okay. The next suggestion I would give is to incorporate produce at every single meal. Produce is low in calorie, high density, loaded with antioxidants, and I'm going to give you some example of how you can incorporate produce at every meal. First, this is my delicious smoothie that I love to have every morning. And then you can also just do grab and go fruits and veggies. Cut up cucumbers, grape tomatoes, celery. You could do pasta with veggies added into the pasta. Of course, you can make yourself a salad daily with your lunch. Vegetable soup is delicious. And you could also add produce to your oatmeal. Like, for instance, I add pureed pumpkin to my oatmeal, and it's absolutely delicious. So another question I get a lot is, I'm so confused with serving sizes. Please help me understand how much I should eat. So what I would say is, Veggies can be unlimited. And then protein, keep it to the size of your palm of your hand, 2 extended fingers. Some people like a little more protein. And then healthy fats. Healthy fats are one of the most important, but yet one of the most missed things on a healthy diet. And keep your healthy fats to half of a cup or the size of a tennis ball. And so it's important to know that our brain is 60% fat. So our brain needs healthy fats to function at its optimal level. Okay, so what are the best foods for boosting your energy, especially for that afternoon slump, right? So the idea here is to combine protein with fiber to stabilize blood sugar. So the best snacks for energy are several. First, I'd start out maybe Greek yogurt with some berries, or edamame, which has fiber and protein, any kind of apples with any kind of nut butter, bean chips with salsa or whole grain crackers with hummus. You could also have any kind of nuts. Trail mix is a great selection. Peppers and hummus, carrots and hummus, popcorn with nuts. Also string cheese with oranges and bananas, cottage cheese with fruit. Those are all good ideas. Some more tips for energy is 1, work out at lunch if you can. Studies show that exercise can actually increase productivity. So if you work out at lunch, you'll be all set to jump right back into work when you get back to the office. And then 2, you got to get outside for some vitamin D. Even if it's just for a few minutes, the fresh air will revive you and give you that boost of energy. Make sure to drink plenty of water. Even mild dehydration can cause fatigue. So staying hydrated all day, and you won't have to worry about feeling sluggish. If you need a reminder, set an alarm or an alarm on your phone to drink some water every half hour. And then open those blinds. Sunlight is important to fight off fatigue. Think about how many times you were at a table, falling asleep when it was too bright in a room. You don't, right? So peppermint essential oil is also great in drinking water. This is one of my secret tips. I try to get up at 4:50 in the morning to get my workout in before the kids get up for school. And I put 1 drop of the peppermint essential oil in my water, and I promise it's better than coffee. It wakes you right up. So lemon oil aromatherapy is awesome. If you can diffuse a lemon oil, it's a stimulating scent that could perk you up midday. But make sure to avoid energy drinks. And it may seem counterintuitive, but an energy drink and a cup of coffee can give you a burst of energy, but you'll also experience that hard crash when the caffeine or the energy drink wears off, which will make you feel more tired than before. Plus, you run the risk of having your body become dependent on it. Okay, so the next question I get is, what is the best sweetener to use? So what I would recommend is to always opt for natural sweeteners. Okay, so like coconut sugar, which is delicious. It tastes like caramel. It's very high in nutrients, but very, very low in glycemic. Or stevia, which is actually a herb. It's not a sugar, and it's very alkaline and healthy for you. But for the actual sugars, a lot of them are about 20 calories per teaspoon, 60 calories per tablespoon. They have negligible nutrition. They're empty calories. Honey has a trace amount of nutrients, but you're not eating enough to get enough nutrients. So just pick the one you like for the taste of whatever you are eating. Remember, agave doesn't raise blood sugar, so it's good for diabetics, but it does raise triglycerides, so it's not necessarily good for someone with heart disease. What you want to do is be careful of the added sugar. For instance, yogurt, of course, plain is better, and then you doctor it up yourself with some berries or something like that. But as long as the sugars are under 20 grams, the main sugar in yogurt is the cow's milk, the lactose that's in the cow's milk. So a lot of high quality yogurts don't add the sugar to the yogurt. I would also offer Greek yogurt, which fits into this category. Greek yogurt is a lot higher in protein. Okay, but you're also always going to have a little bit of sugar, which is the lactose. And then cereal. Don't buy cereal if it's more than 8 grams of sugar. So lean toward the granola brands. So these are the artificial sweeteners that you're going to want to watch out for. The pink, the yellow, and the blue packets. Those are just chemicals. They're not things from Mother Nature. And a fact that no one can dispute is that the controversial sweeteners are made from chemicals which are known to have a toxic effect on the body. So rather than help with weight loss, artificial sweeteners may cause weight gain. And so according to studies, all of them heighten the motivation to eat more. So additionally, a sweet taste from artificial or natural sweeteners was found to enhance the human appetite. Okay. So like I said, the problem with artificial sweeteners, they cause you to gain weight, but also you are 67% more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, 36% more likely to develop metabolic syndrome, which leads to stroke and heart disease. And you're more likely to develop the fat around the middle. Okay, so how to handle a sweet tooth? Well, I always like to go with a 90-10 approach. So there's a little room for a little sugar every single day. It's all about balance, right? Balancing the nutrition with sugar. You can allow about 150 calories of sugar every day. Again, opting for the natural forms rather than refined toxic sugar. So opt for sweet foods to curb cravings. You could try just going with fruit, which has natural sugars. You could try fresh or frozen fruit topped with whipped cream. Whipped cream has a lot of air whipped in it, so it's perfectly fine in small doses. Again, with a smoothie, I love this because it gives me a little bit of a sweet treat when I need it. Trail mix is always, it gives you that salt and sweet. And then again, yogurt with berries, or in the hot Texas heat, I like to have a fruit sickle now and then. Even dark chocolate, and be sure to make sure that the dark chocolate, that when you're selecting a chocolate, that it goes 70% higher, 70% or higher in cacao powder. Okay, and it'll say right on the label. And then of course, sweet vegetables like red pepper, sweet potatoes, sugar snap peas. Okay, so is it better to eat 3 large meals or 6 small meals a day? Well, the idea here is quality over quantity. So 3 squares is usually the right answer, and I'll tell you why. Oops, let me back up. I'll tell you why. Because 3 squares a day, you feel satiated. You feel more satisfied. With mini meals, they have to really be small. They have to be between 200 and 300 calories, and they tend to push the portions and you end up gaining weight. So let's talk about what foods you should try. All right. So on the top of my list of foods that you should try if you haven't already is chia seeds. Chia seeds are a plant-based omega-3, which suppresses inflammation and boosts the mood. There's more fiber and calcium than flax. They don't need to be ground. They're neutral tasting, so you could throw them into smoothies, pancakes, oatmeal, meatloaf, meatballs, and etc. Also, trying quinoa. Quinoa is the new rice, and it's so easy. You just boil it up for 20 minutes, season it with whatever you want, use it in veggie wraps, tacos. It's a complete protein, and it's loaded with magnesium and has lots of fiber. You should also try roasted edamame. They're little soybeans in the pod. They're crunchy and delicious. You can have them naked or salted. They have 2 times more protein than nuts and have a lot of fiber. They also have a good shelf life, and they travel well. Okay, so pumpkin puree. I was telling you how I added it to my oatmeal in the morning, not the pie mix, the actual pumpkin puree. It has a good shelf life, and you can mix it with, like I said, oatmeal, yogurt, pancakes. You can even hide it in pasta sauce to give it a little bit of extra beta carotene for your kids. So also loaded with potassium. Kale. So kale is the new spinach. It's Mother Nature's multivitamin. You could put it in smoothies. You could add it to quinoa. You could eat it on the side or make a salad out of it and add in some avocado, and it's absolutely delicious. And then there's still cut oats, which is a whole grain. It's harder to digest, and it's lower on the glycemic index than instant oats, so it lowers your cholesterol. So you could throw it into a slow cooker in the evening, put it on low setting, and add in a little bit of fruit, so no sweetener is even needed, and it's great for winter. You wake up and your house smells amazing. And then kefir. Kefir may be the new Greek yogurt soon. It's drinkable. It's a high quality protein, and you get your daily calcium needs. You could use it for smoothies or just drink it straight. Okay, so what do you need to know about labels? It can be so confusing, right? Well, just remember a few things. First of all, you have to read the labels to understand what's truly going in your body. And you have to start with reading the number of servings per container. Okay, then also you want to look for the red flag ingredients, such as artificial sweeteners, artificial colors or dyes, and sodium nitrates. And you also want to choose something that has 0 trans fat and is low in saturated fat. Okay, so someone that says that they are, at a weight loss plateau, this is what I would recommend. It happens for 2 reasons. First, the newness of a diet wears off, or you start loosening up on what you're eating. So Also, the more you have to lose, the faster it comes off. And as you get down to your goal weight, you don't have as much to lose. So what I recommend is to tighten up on what you're eating. Start logging your food for at least a week so that you could see exactly what you're eating, so that you can think before you eat. If you're doing everything right, then it's time to shave off 100 calories. Also, you could bump up the cardio to burn an extra 100 calories a day for 6 days, and that's really a lot. That could make a difference. Here's one I hear a lot. My metabolism has slowed down as I get older. What can I do to speed it up? Well, first, your body has to work hard to make hormones, and this process slows down as we get older. We don't move as much anymore. We're not running after kids. We're sitting more. We're just not moving as much. And so you really can rev up your metabolism through cardio, biking, walking, swimming, dancing, but also try incorporating strength training twice a week. Strength training a couple times a week is important because we lose muscle mass as we get older, and muscle increases your metabolism 3 times more than fat. So it's uber important. And then include protein at every meal and snack. So protein gives you the thermogenic effect on your body. And so your body has to work harder, and it can give you a bigger uptick than carbs or fat. So I'm not preaching the high protein diet, but you should aim for about 50% of your weight in grams of protein. Athletes probably need around 60 to 80% of their body weight in grams. All right. How can I reduce my middle? So first of all, you cannot spot reduce. Okay, that's important to know. No one food targets the midsection, but you eat less, move more, and so you burn fat all over, and belly fat is the fastest to burn. This is the pro-inflammatory fat that leads to disease. It's the dangerous fat, which leads to cancers, diabetes, and heart disease. So you want to aim for anti-inflammatory foods. And then I get this question quite often: is exercise really important if I'm eating all the right things? The answer to that is a resounding yes. Exercise is important for many reasons. It burns more calories, during and after. You can maintain a healthy weight. It helps to boost your mood. It also increases self-esteem and confidence, and improves your cardiovascular health, and boosts immunity, increases your brain size, improves sleep, reduces diabetes, cancer, arthritis, and much more. Okay. Then there comes the topic of supplements. Why do we need them, and how do we choose which supplements? It can be very overwhelming when you go to the store on trying to pick out what supplements you need. So the idea behind supplements is that you want to choose supplements that are, number one, clean. They don't have a bunch of stuff in them that are going to do more harm than good, such as artificial dyes, artificial colors, or any kind of synthetics at all. You want to choose whole food supplements so that your body will recognize them. And you want the ingredients in that bottle to be therapeutic to your body, to make a difference to your body. You could buy a supplement that has 100 different ingredients, but if it's not in therapeutic doses, then you're wasting your money. Okay, so what I recommend is taking a whole food multivitamin and multimineral. Okay, this is important because, again, being whole food, your body will recognize it. And a lot of vitamin supplements on the store shelf contain vitamins, and most people know they need to take vitamins, but it's the minerals that most people are missing. 95% of Americans are actually deficient in minerals, and minerals come from eating plants, and most people don't eat enough vegetables and plant-based foods. And so really looking for a whole food multivitamin with bioavailable minerals is important. 300 different metabolic functions in your body rely on minerals, and every organ in your body relies on minerals. So that is enough reason to make sure you have enough minerals in your multivitamin. Okay, and then really incorporating a probiotic with a prebiotic. This is one supplement, and a lot of times when you go to the store, you'll find there's tons of probiotics, but it's more difficult to find a probiotic that actually includes a prebiotic. So to explain, in your colon, there are thousands of species of bacteria, both good and bad. And in order to have a healthy digestive system, you need an abundance of good bacteria to combat the bad bacteria. Probiotics introduce the good bacteria to your colon, and prebiotics act like a fertilizer and feed the probiotics. Unfortunately, there's no food that contains both the pro and the prebiotics. And so there are lots of health benefits associated with eating foods that contain probiotics and prebiotics. And some of those include, let me just tell you, regular digestive health, improved immune system health, less leaky gut, less inflammation, weight loss, just to name a few. And then the third supplement I would recommend is a comprehensive omega-3, 6, and 9 supplement. And what I recommend is that you look for one that has a plant-based and marine-based omegas in it so that you get a comprehensive supplement to fight inflammation and fight the oxidative stress that all of us experience. Okay? And then enzymes. Okay, enzymes are important because you can only absorb the nutrients from your food if your digestion is working. And the older we get, the less our digestion is optimal. And so enzymes are very important to incorporate daily. So whole food, multivitamin, multimineral, probiotic with prebiotic, omega-369 enzymes, and then the last one is certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. And if you're new to essential oils, if you haven't heard about them, I'm going to explain a little bit more about what they are and how they can help you. So essential oils are basically plant-based and can be medicinal. They are natural therapeutic compounds extracted and distilled from plants for health benefits. They're actually 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs, and they're really affordable considering that you only spend pennies per dose. So, for instance, when 1 drop of peppermint essential oil, which is about 8 cents per serving, equals the potency of 28 cups of peppermint tea. So, given a closer look, on the left, you'll see a peppermint leaf, and on the right, you'll see that it's blown up underneath a microscope. And those white sacs are the essential oils. And so that's where the essential oil, the aromatic compounds, come from. For example, if you go in your backyard and you pick a rosemary sprig and you run your hand along that sprig, you'll notice that your hand smells like rosemary. That's because you pop the oil sacs. And those oil sacs help that plant to ward off disease, ward off pests, and rejuvenate and regenerate its cells, much in the same way that the essential oils help us in our body. Okay, so why use essential oils? Well, we know that symptoms are just indicators that something else is going on at a deeper level. And like I said earlier, medications only address symptoms, right? They don't get to the root cause. Oils actually work with the body to address issues on a cellular level. Okay, oils can penetrate the cell membrane to combat threats without building up resistance. So, for instance, if you go to the doctor and he says you have a viral infection, I'm sorry, antibiotics won't work. That's because antibiotics cannot penetrate the cell membrane, but essential oils can. So, you can use essential oils as an addition to your health plan and natural plant-based first aid and health care at home. So how to choose essential oils? Well, first, you're going to want to pick certified pure therapeutic grade. And to be that level of essential oil, first, they have to be harvested at the right time for the therapeutic properties. For instance, you know that you can get strawberries in the middle of winter, but that's not when they grow, that's not when their peak season is. And so they're not going to be as high in nutrients. So the same thing goes with essential oils. They also have to be distilled at the right time for therapeutic properties. Melissa oil is a very high valued oil. It has a lot of medicinal properties, but the time between it being harvested and its distillation has to be very short. Otherwise, the therapeutic properties start to decline. And then third, you have to have indigenous sourcing for the highest potency. You have to get the plant for the oils where the plant grows naturally. I can grow lavender in my backyard in Texas, but it's not going to be as potent as lavender that comes from France, right? And then lastly, you have to have third-party testing because you have to have someone else besides the company that's manufacturing the oils verify that they are pure and potent and they're free of fillers, pesticides, and foreign contaminants. So kind of keeping the fox out of the hen house, as we would like to say in Iowa. Okay, so essential oils I would recommend for fat fatigue and brain fog. First, you definitely need to work with a holistic health practitioner for your specific health situation. But in general, for weight loss, cinnamon makes a good essential oil for weight loss. It supports healthy blood sugar. And then grapefruit supports metabolism. Black pepper essential oil also supports metabolism and removes excess water. And then for energy and focus, peppermint essential oil fights fatigue and improves concentration. And then eucalyptus is awesome at supporting energy and alertness. And again, there's several ways to use essential oils. You could diffuse them. Some of them you can use topically, or some of them you can use internally. But again, it depends on the person, their health situation, and the quality of the essential oils. So I encourage you to work with a holistic health practitioner. Okay. And then wrapping up, some other strategies for workplace wellness and to fight fat fatigue and brain fog is, number one, pack your lunch. You're just going to get cleaner food when you pack your lunch instead of going out to eat at a restaurant all the time, right? Plan, shop, and prepare on Sunday. This is what I do. So I plan my week. I pick out a few recipes and things that I'm going to eat. That way you're prepared. You're not waiting until the last minute and then grabbing whatever's available. Also, cook once and eat twice. I don't like to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, so I'll cook one meal, but I'll make it double so that I can eat at least twice on that same meal. Put exercise on your calendar. If it doesn't, for me, if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. So it's just put yourself on your to-do list and put exercise at the top of your list. Walk or climb the stairs. Also, investing in an individual travel blender. For someone who's a smoothie person like myself, I don't feel the same if I don't have my smoothie. So I take a small travel blender with me wherever I go. And then have healthy travel and desk snacks always handy so that you're not going to the nearest vending machine. Drinking water every 30 minutes to avoid even mild dehydration. And then making sure you're getting your healthy fats for energy and brain health. Seek out healthier restaurants. Know which restaurants are healthier in your area so that you know can make wise choices when it's time to go to lunch if you want to go out with some friends. And then supplements, incorporating supplements and essential oils give you another layer added to your foundation for health. Okay, if you're doing everything right and you still have some health concerns going on, fat fatigue and brain fog, here are some additional considerations. First, there's so many things that could be at play here. You may have a hormone imbalance. You may have toxicities. You could have silent infections. You could have hidden food sensitivities or nutritional deficiencies. All of these play a role in your health, your weight, and how you feel, your energy levels, and your focus. And so I would seek testing from a holistic or a functional practitioner. And then lastly, I do want to provide some free resources to you. We know that nutrient deficiency is a root cause for many serious and chronic health conditions. So I want to offer to you my free nutrient deficiency quiz. All you have to do is text nutrient quiz. There's no space between nutrient quiz to 44222. And what you'll get is an email with your free nutrient deficiency quiz. It'll also provide some other free health offers, such as $100 off 3-month health coaching program, free healthy grocery list, and my own 7-day crash course to essential oils. And I also include an offer for a weight loss recipe program and an offer for a complimentary phone consult for your specific health questions. So with all of that, I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you very much.